Any individual fire district, fire department has a fire. They will typically handle it through their local resources through what's called an alarm system. In Josephine County, you have typically 3 alarm levels. So first alarm would be like an engine and maybe an ambulance that's going to go and deal with a medical call. And that's really all the resources you need. Perhaps what you have is a structure fire, and the first alarm resources arrive and they find that the fire is greater than they're able to handle. They can ask for additional alarm levels, which will typically bring in more of that local agency's resources, more fire engine. And or it can bring local and mutual aid, so neighboring departments come over and help. Once they tap their alarm levels, if they still need additional help, then what they can request is a task force from the 2-county task force system under the Chiefs Association, which then allows us to bring resources from Jackson County. Once we tap that, we realistically look at that as tapping all the local available resources and mutual aid resources, because you don't want to strip any one community of their fire apparatus, because there's other fires and other calls that go on. Then we have the ability to tap into the state through the mobilization plan and ask for resources from them, plus overhead help in terms of additional fire chiefs that come in the team that come down and help manage your incident work. So that becomes really important for all of us in these bigger incidents like Deer Creek and North River Road and Biscuit and all the other major fires. That's how we mobilize in order to be able to manage incidents that large. And you get quite a level of complexity with the number of fire departments and wildland agencies and people that get involved and participate in those events. So that's really the matrix, or the overlay, if you will, in terms of how that stuff works. I think with that, what I'd like to do now is kind of walk into maybe some of the individual roles and responsibilities, and have some of these folks chime in from their agency so that you can get a little more insight about what they do and what some of those expectations are.
So you've got a fire going out of bigger than what you can comfortably handle, so you call in Illinois Valley. How is Illinois Valley being remunerated? How do they get paid? I mean, how does the money flow from that?
It's all reciprocal. The idea is that if under a mutual aid agreement, I agree to send you stuff when you need it, and you agree to send me stuff when I need it.
Okay.
And for the most part, it balances out. There are some other types of agreements out there for extenuating circumstances that you need to do reimbursements, but really, for the most part, I can't recall that happening in this county or in Jackson County in my career anyways. But it's based on reciprocation, which is a good question, because when it comes to the unprotected areas, we get into the discussion here in a minute, there's some issues with that, and you guys need to kind of be aware of potential issues, I should say. So from a fire event standpoint, the local fire chief and the fire defense board are really fire defense board chief, and this is in an area that actually has a fire district in it, or fire department, public base. If they have a fire, their responsibility is to not only protect their community, but to also orchestrate and host any mutual aid automatic aid resources they commit. So that means managing their mutual aid agreements and being a good host in terms of making sure that they're taken care of and provided for. In addition to that, they're responsible for being prepared to ask for additional resources through the system, whether it be the 2 task force system or whether it's to go to the state level and ask for conflagration. They really have some roles and responsibilities and be prepared for that. And some of the other documents I have in here, and I won't go through them in great detail, there is a quick checklist for the local fire chief, incident commander, that really outlines the roles and responsibility for that escalating incident. And then there's another one for the fire defense board chief. So what will essentially happen is in the instance where we're talking about a larger fire that's growing, the fire defense board chief is going to show up and assist that local fire chief or incident commander in working through trying to get the additional resources. Also assist in coordinating what's going on with the Oregon Department of Forestry that's cross-protecting land, to make sure that we're utilizing our resources effectively and protect the community. And really make an assessment on whether we need more stuff. We need to go to the state level. If the decision's made, then we step into that next category where we're asking the state for that system. I think, Marianne, do you want to talk a little bit about Board of County Commissioners' roles and expectations? I'll segue into it. So in the unprotected areas where the fire defense board chief would be working with the local fire chief and the incident commander to figure out what's needed and if the request to the state needs to be made. In the unprotected area, it becomes very important for you folks because you are now the authority who has the jurisdiction for that unprotected area.
How do we give that authority to someone else?